For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast with over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 6+ years in that games media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, please check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All of our links are in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist where you can watch us record this show live. You can be in the chat. You can become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you're on the podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Max, it's been a long weekend, man. It's been a long weekend. Yeah. So we're once again recording on a Sunday, as we normally do Saturdays for those who watch on Twitch. I've been gallivanting around the state this weekend. My brother-in-law got married up in Dunkeld, which is like fuck knows where. It's in the Grampians.
Yep.
And it's just so far away. It was a really good time. Really good weekend. I looked shit hot in my suit, is what I'm saying. Like all that weight loss, all that effort paid off in one outfit, and I totally rocked it.
Nice.
I felt really good. But other than that, I'm really effing tired. So I'm hoping that I can like get a good rant going on later or something to give me some energy to bring it back up. Either my energy will dissipate or it might pick back up as we go. We'll wait and see. But how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a week.
It's been a week?
It's been a week.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Just more house drama nonsense.
How is hashtag house drama going?
Oh, well, we've got conditional approval now. But obviously one of the conditions is they need to evaluate the house because they will lend you money based on the lower amount of value of house versus purchasing price.
Yeah.
And all of our contracts done now. And the conveyance is can you what's going on? I'm like, well, we can't do anything until the land's being worked on. It's like, cool. So this is going to be fun. Because all our subject to finance clauses are all kind of nearing their end. Yeah. But it doesn't look like the land's going to be ready for valuation for another month.
Oh.
And they're like, we're not going to give you another extension.
Oh.
And they're like, so we're like, do we risk it for the biscuit?
Yeah.
Because obviously the bank will honour their loan.
Yeah.
Because we've been given...
But you'll lose all your grants and stuff.
Not necessarily, because they're still on target for an April titling, so we're not going to lose anything.
Welcome to the number one real estate PlayStation.
It's just frustrating. So I'm a little bit stressed this week, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
it's been fun. Just when I thought we were out of the woods, I'm back in it.
One thing you've also been doing this week, we touched upon this last week, Manshake.
Yes.
As you all know, I'm a Manshake ambassador. I lost 30 kilos using the product last year. Max is now jumping on that Manshake train, so he and I will be continuing my weight loss journey, starting your weight loss journey this year. How'd you go back on it?
So I kicked things off on Tuesday when my order arrived, and I have stuck to it very well all the way up until yesterday. I decided to swap things up a little bit.
Do you have a cheat day?
I had Subway for lunch.
Yeah.
Instead of, semi-healthy, and then I just shake for dinner, shake for breakfast.
That's fine. It's cheap.
So I still did the 2 shakes, 1 meal. I just swapped it for a lunch instead of a dinner.
That's really fun. That is absolutely fun. Because it's one of those things. It's not about just changing your diet. It's changing your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that means, if this is something you only want to do in the long term, you don't want to just, be so restrictive that you want to go insane.
Yeah.
Because then the second you drop off it, you want to die.
I've been eating healthy. It helps. My mum, grandma, and sister are all doing the same thing at the moment.
They're lady shaking?
They're not lady shaking. They're just trying to lose weight. And they're like, oh, let's, we'll support each other. So we've got a Facebook group called the Fat Pack.
Nice.
We're going to do weekly weigh-ins to see who's going to lose the most weight. And because we're all super competitive in our family, we all want to win.
But isn't the difficulty that you all have different, like you'll have probably different body weight, body fat percentages?
Well, see, I've got the advantage because I've got the most to
I was
lose.
going to say, like, who's got the most to lose? Yeah.
So, we're doing this monthly pool.
Yeah.
Biggest loser gets the biggest winnings.
I presume it's percentage, right? It'd have to be percentage.
Yeah, it's just
It's straight numbers?
Just straight numbers.
Oh, you got this
straight,
in the...
straight numbers.
That's the advantage, you got this in the bag.
King
But anyway, if you want to get on board with us, more than welcome to. We'd love to hear from you guys if you want to join our weight loss plans for this year. There will be, although there won't be a specific PopC or FTP discount, I'm still in talks with Manshake. Something might happen in the works. But either way, there is a link down below. If you click that link, if you buy some Manshake, it helps. It helps us because they know where the traffic's coming from. Because when we was talking to Kumquat last week on the chat, he was like, "Hey, I bought some, but how do I tell them that you were the one that inspired me to do it?" I'm like, I don't know. Now we have a way. It's a link down there. There you go. But that's enough of the life things, because for the players, like for the pop cultures, we are personality based. I'd like to think you come for us and the stuff that we talk about. So that's us out of the way. Let's get on the PlayStation things. What have you been playing this week?
So I rolled credits on Devil May Cry 5.
Ooh.
So I finished Virgil's story.
Did you have to cheat your way to the boss like you were mentioning last week?
No.
You didn't have to difficulty a lot?
No. I didn't end up difficulty lowering. I just persevered and got good,
Well done.
essentially. Took me a couple of tries, but we got there in the end. Man, that game is so much fun.
Yeah.
So I've actually started replaying it with the original 3 characters, progressing through the harder difficulties, because I was at one point for about 5 minutes contemplating the platinum, and then realized that you have to beat every single difficulty each time. There's no...
Oh, does it stack?
There's no stacking, because you
That is disgusting.
Because you have to beat the previous difficulty to unlock the next difficulty.
That's disgusting.
So there's no, I can just jump to the top and just work my way backwards. You have to do it in order. So, and they get more and more brutal. So obviously, the hardest difficulty, for instance, is all enemies have 800% health.
Ew.
And you die in one hit.
Ew.
So good luck.
No, that's not fun.
Other than that, I've also been playing Atelier Ryza, the first one. I think it's of Darkness and the Hidden Hideout, the Secret Hideout.
Yeah, so big thank you to Turn Left Distribution, which is the publisher here in Australia. Max was like, they saw the second one and said, I want to give that a go. So we sent them an email and they were very kind and like, have you played the first one yet? No, cool, here you go.
So I've been playing that. So it's a JRPG, essentially. It's part of the Atelier series, so it has the same gameplay mechanics of, you find out that you have latent alchemical proficiency, so you start creating your items and whatnot. You go out gathering. The storyline so far has been fairly basic you're a kid who essentially lives in a port town and your biggest dream is to just leave this port town and go and explore the world. So you kind of seem like a crummy kid. Your parents are running this rundown farm and they're like, you need to help us. And you're like, nah, I'm just gonna go slay some monsters and gather some stuff to make my potions. Peace. So that's been fun. Really like the combat system. So it's still a command-based combat system like most RPGs, but it's in real time. So on the side, it has essentially a flowing turn order, and when it's your turn, if you're not ready, everyone else still goes, and it just keeps rolling down. So if you take too long to make your decisions, you can just get hammered constantly by the enemies.
Brutal.
So it's not turn-based.
That's
it's
cool.
Just now it's your turn because of the running order, but if you're not going anything, the rest of the running order still runs.
So it kind of makes me think of Child of Light, which is it had the bar down the bottom.
Yeah.
But you, because it was all about...
So it used to pause at the end. Though,
It would pause at the end, but people would move at different speeds.
Yeah.
So whether you'd be like, because it's turn-based.
Yeah,
but
so...
someone might have 2 goes in a row because they're just faster.
That's the basic premise, but it doesn't pause at the end of the bar anymore. It just keeps flowing.
Brutal.
So if you take too long to decide what you're going to do, they'll just keep going without you.
Okay.
So it's been interesting to play. I'm about 10 hours deep. I look forward to finishing. I look forward to playing more of it. It's been really fun.
Yeah. So the thing that excited you the most out of specifically the second one is that it's the same guys that made Fairy Tale, which you were a big fan of last year. From what you're playing here, are a lot of the seeds from what became Fairy Tale in this?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that in my Fairy Tale review. It's very much a reskin of the Atelier series games, and this is very much an Atelier series game. It has all the same gameplay loops. It has the same graphical design. It has the same what I would feel is like a weird gameplay choice where they give you a specific button to free jump, but you cannot jump over any obstacles. There's just solid invisible walls above every obstacle that you can't really, unless you're specifically meant to jump up the stairs, you can't jump over like a small railing to get to the other side of the fence, so to speak.
So with it having that, like a thread within a series or within a developer is pretty cool. Like it's a very like distinct design feature. But do you believe that having this be so close to, you know, that brand? Well, I guess because it is part of the Atelier, it's part of the mainline. It's
part of the mainline series of the Atelier games. I think there's like 8, 9, 10 of them. There's so many. It probably works to their advantage because they're using the same systems, and like some of the systems are quite in depth, especially like the crafting for the alchemy stuff. There's so many different options depending on like the grade of the material you've managed to gather. And then if you meet certain conditions at certain points, you can expand those and it creates an entirely different thing. So it's not like it's this short copy paste job. It's kind of, they all have their own, what's the word I'm looking for? Personality, so to speak.
Okay, so there's like, the skeleton's the same, but they add a little bit of different meat to it, or is it like the body's the same, the meat, the skin, the meat, the bones are all the same, but they put different clothes on it? Like,
maybe. So having not played
using
a lot of
a gross and anatomical metaphor,
having not played a lot of the previous series of the games, they do all look very similar. Like they're all made the same way.
So out of 10, how weeby is it?
Oh, it's super. Like I don't think there's English voice. I've got to pay attention because I've got to read the subtitles. Which is fine. Like I normally opt for games that are like that to play with the Japanese voice acting. But it's pretty weird. I'll send you a few screenshots. I'm like, it's pretty weird. It's pretty weird.
Like I have no interest in playing it because like I don't do the
like when I first started, I'm like, oh, is there a low key farming simulator in this?
Because it might string me back.
Am I going to get Ryan back in this?
Because like for anyone that's new to the show, like if you. I can't stand weeby games. I can't do it. I don't like anime. I don't like weeby shit. I can't do it. But Sakuna of Rice and Ruin won me over last year because it had farming sims in it. And that's the only reason I loved it. Because you got farming sim and you got Betson.
Yeah.
Anything else?
And I've been playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 again. Since it's currently now free on PC. So I thought I'd give that a bell. And then realized it was a terrible mistake because you start at level 1 and you're versing like level 300 sweaty dudes. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I've
never played that game.
Don't.
I took a stand with the microtransactions and I'm so I had to play it.
I've gotten it for free twice and I still think I paid too much for it.
I myself have not played a lot this week, obviously being away for the majority of the week, or the weekend and late into last week. Didn't really get a whole lot. I did spend some time streaming on Thursday. I just streamed a bunch of games that made me mad, was the idea. What began as, let's put my PS5 on shuffle and see where it takes me. It then led to me playing Celeste and dying 319 times in the 3rd level. I'm wanting to murder everyone. Then in the chat, Sean was like, how about that Demon Souls? I'm like, yeah, I put like 10 minutes into it. Let's give it another go. Jumped into it again, and I got less mad at it. Isn't that? I can't explain that because Demon Souls, I guess, should be more brutal, quote unquote. But I was having a better time playing Demon Souls.
I think it's because there's a literal stopping point in Demon Souls where once you die, you go back to the start, and there's like. Granted, because of the PS5, there's a short loading time, but it refreshes you and goes back. In Celeste, you die, you're instantly back, and there was times where you were dying within a second of respawning. Yeah, and there's a little bit of a leeway gap.
Yeah, and like that repetition of just get fucked, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you. This is I'm so mad. And then because of that frustration, it was leaking into me points that I had already surpassed. I was getting, so say it was like a 10, I would say 10 point level, like, you know, so I'm getting to level 5, dying, Then I get into and then because I couldn't get part, and then somehow I'm catching myself at 3, and then I go 7, and then I go 4, and then 5. So it's not I'm not consistently being hammered in one location.
Yeah.
It was just the frustration, the emotion were getting to a point where it was preventing me from proceeding further because I was just not playing appropriately. Game's still really cool. Like, it's fine. But like, it is in a situation where I feel already, because I haven't put any of the assists on, and I'm garbage at platforms, I should specify. I have a feeling that a lot of the impact that the game can have or could have might be lost if it continues playing like this for me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Because like the reason I'm playing this is because from what I've heard, it's got this incredible sort of, focus on mental health and sort of, and just that's pretty much a big thing for me. It's like,
it certainly does. And Buddy Watts in the chat, he's just put it on assist mode, finish it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I might do that because I think I'm just going to have to do it just because I want the story is all I want. Like, I don't really give a shit about me achieving that, getting the strawberries. I don't fucking care. I just want to get to it. I want to take in all the best parts of it without wanting to fucking strangle things. And like, I'm sure, is that part of it? Is trying to teach me resilience? Because if it's not a very good job.
It's not doing a very good job.
Yeah. But yeah, like there's enough in it. It's interesting. Like, so in the third level, which is the hotel, you meet the gentleman who's got a lot of that self-doubt and almost like self-deprecating doubt and sort of like even self-destructive doubt.
Yeah.
And of course, those anxieties lead to sort of clutter and, I did feel personally attacked by that gentleman personally, but just saying. But no, like there's a lot of that was really, really cool. I enjoyed that.
Anything else?
Not really. I don't think.
I'm just gonna have a quick rant tacked onto the end. I know this isn't super PlayStation related, but Epic did it again.
Did what again?
So to install Battlefront. It installs and launches Origin. Then you have to log into Origin.
Yeah.
And then you have to click the install on Origin, and then it shoots you back over to Epic to install the game and download it.
Bro.
And then when you launch Epic, launch it through Epic, it launches Origin, then goes back and then relaunches it through. Nightmare.
So Origin's like your authenticator.
Yeah.
Oops.
Nightmare. Oops. Absolute nightmare.
Yep.
Because for some reason, your session can time out on Origin if you log in via a third-party source, which disconnects you from the servers when you're playing in the middle of a game. Super annoying. They did it with GTA where you had to download a launcher to download the nightmare. Yeah. Stop giving away free games if they're not.
Nothing is truly free, Max. Nothing's free. Yeah. And there's the catch. The catch is you have to go through that hurdle if you want it free. One thing I did do this week though is I went and picked up a portable hard drive for the PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Mostly because I was having a look at the storage and I was getting reasonably full. I noticed that the other section was like pushing 100 gig. Like, what the fuck is this? Why is it so high? So I'm losing a fifth of my console to a sixth of my console to whatever this other data is. Yep. And they're like, oh, it's just data about how you use your console. So I Googled and it was like, yeah, if you use a lot of PS4 titles on the hard drive, it does this. It's part of the back compat shit. I'm like, oh, and they're like, well, if you can circumvent it by getting external. I'm like, all right, sweet, done. So I got an external. I moved all my PS4 games from the console, which was pretty much Cyberpunk, Sakuna, something else. I just moved it across the hard drive, and cool. And then it cleared out that other data. There's still like a little bit there, but it's staggeringly less. And then I was like, oh, now that the VR dongle, which, where the hell did I put it?
Yeah, mine arrived this week too.
The VR dongle's over there. It did arrive in the mail this week, so get excited. So I went and it's like, oh, I've got the external now. I'll need to download some.
So have you played anything off the external drive yet? Have you noticed like a horrendous variance?
Oh, Celeste was the other one.
Have you?
No, not really. Like playing Celeste, probably not the best example because it was fine. GTA, which has moved across there now. I'm curious to see how that'll go. But yeah, as of right now, no, not really. But I've not really gone super hard on it intentionally. Yeah. But I did have, whether this is demonstrating my hoarder compulsions, but when I plugged it in and I sorted all the PS4 games over to the external, and it allowed me to download a bunch of other games. I actually felt happier with my PS5. My PS5.
Your 4.
My 4. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but now that I turn on my PS5 and I see a string of games, old games, new games, like it feels like a more complete gaming experience for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but I'm like, this feels like the gaming experience that I want. And like, I actually felt a sense of like, when I'm looking at it and I'm seeing all these games. I don't know what it is.
I must admit, I'm in the mindset of, now that I've finished this game, what can I can uninstall it. What can I now install?
Yeah.
So now that I've finished DMC, I think that's going to be replaced by Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Valhalla. I'm gonna hit that hard. I think that's the next.
See, I hate working in that bracket though. Like even on my PS4.
Oh, I super can't wait for Sony to be like, hey guys, we've unlocked the second hard drive slot. Go nuts. Here are all the things that you can use in it.
Yeah. So my PS4 Pro, it has a 3 terabyte bastard in there. First thing I did when I got it, and I have a lot of games on there that I just go to here occasionally. Like I hate, like my internet's pretty good and I can install it, but I do have part of that like. I don't know. I don't want to like incorrectly state it, but it's like some sort of need. I'm like, I want to play this game now.
Yeah.
And then because it's never there, it's always like, no, the PS5 is a bit disappointing. If anything, I'm more positive on the PS5 now because of this. Because it doesn't, as I said, it doesn't feel like such a shallow gaming experience. And I think I understand why people like enjoy backwards compatibility for that reason. Because I didn't get my PS4 at launch, so I didn't get to experience the real shit, like the real shallow launch window, right?
Yeah.
Same as my PS3. I got my PS3 way later. I got it like when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out. So by then, there'd already been a stack of games before it. It wasn't me going, oh, I don't know what to play.
Yeah, I guess that's the downfall of being an early adopter. You have such a small sample size of stuff to. Yeah,
like, it's not a bad thing. I'm not like poo-pooing them because that. Well, no, I can poo-poo them because I don't have enough release games. But it's just I don't know. I have a feeling it's me. And I'm okay with it because I said I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more content with my PS5 right now.
Oh, that's good.
It's so good because I put a bunch of other things on there. I put some real obscure shit. Well, not obscure, but like weird shit you wouldn't want to play now. I put Bully back on there because I want to play Bully again. Put Manhunt on there, which
the PS5 version.
No, not Man Eater.
Oh,
Manhunt, the PS2 game.
My bad.
What else did I put in there? Put Red Dead on there because I do want to finish it. Oh, that's 3 Rockstar games. Oops. I was like, I put Squadrons in there. I put Beat Saber in there, just because I can get ready for some VR stuff. Because I've yet to actually use the Dongaroo now that I've got it, but I will be.
Yeah, I'm the same. Have not set it back up.
Yeah, so I've just put a couple of things in there, and just I don't know. Now that it fits this wider range, it feels good. Anyways, that's not what we've been playing. Let's get into the section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation.
So earlier this week, Sony released a sizzle reel of its upcoming releases to its platform at CES. So these titles included Kena Bridge of Spirits with a date of March 2021, Solar Ash in June 2021, Little Devil Inside July 2021, Ghostwire Tokyo October 2021, Stray October 2021, Projekt Athia January 2022, and Pragmata at 2023.
It also mentioned Ratchet and Clank, which just said 2021, Horizon Forbidden West, which also just said 2021.
Yeah.
That was it, I think.
Yeah, I think so. However, spotted by Gamatsu, the YouTube upload of the same sizzle reel, all the third-party titles have had their dates removed.
Someone got in trouble.
So either they're like, please don't put the dates just in case we need to change them, or maybe someone got in trouble.
No, I have a feeling it's like these are our tentative dates that we gave you. But I say tentative, they're all windows, man. Like they're not specific dates. Specific dates, I can understand why there would be a reluctance.
I mean, even a specific month though, like normally it could be like quarter X.
Yeah, it's true.
But to specifically say it's June.
Well, the thing, like right now we're aiming for June. Like Ghostwire in October doesn't seem new to me. Is that old information?
Maybe.
I don't know. I
mean, we had this conversation before the show where I was positive that Pragmata was in the Capcom leaked
Yeah, so
titles,
prior to
but
the
it
show, like, when we kicked off the stream, like, and Mac's like, "Oh, was that in that big Capcom leak for a couple of months ago?" I'm like, "Oh, let's have a look." No,
Just going crazy.
yeah, but yeah, like, what's your stance on these dates?
It's a nice spread,
Yeah,
which is good. There's a few of them, a few of the games on there that I just have absolutely no interest in. Stray, for example, like it looked cool, but I don't think it's for me. Super keen on Kena Bridge of Spirits, and if that comes out in March, love that. It was the biggest takeaway for me was the fact that Projekt Athia, Square Enix's
whatever the
codename titled Projekt Athia game, is apparently coming out next year. Seems crazy to me.
What's the
Like, Square are kind of notorious for taking forever between their announcement of games and when it actually releases, because generally it changes 3 times of what it's actually going to be in that development cycle. I mean, I'm super keen to see it, like, from what we saw, because I think it was very similar to the footage that we have previously seen. I mean, I'm a massive Square fanboy. I can't wait to see what they do with it. But it was interesting to see that they do have a nice spread across the year.
Yeah, I'd agree. And like with most of these being or at least second party or third party titles, or at least having some sort of marketing deal with PlayStation, it does look pretty good as a spread out year for PlayStation-ness. Aside from Returnal in March as well to sort of connect up with Kena, it's pretty much a nice spread. Now notice how there's nothing in the back end of the year. There's nothing from October through to November. Obviously, they've mentioned Ghostwire Tokyo.
There's no big holiday
Which
game.
makes sense. So PlayStation haven't released a big holiday game in quite a number of years. The last one I remember them doing was The Last Guardian, and even then that was kind of breaking norms because they just wanted to get it out.
Yeah.
So that's cool. The hurdle with this is, where does this put Ratchet? Where does this put Horizon? With Returnal being there, I thought Returnal, I don't know, I had the original idea of a May-ish in my head, because like sort of interject between the big releases. So I originally was thinking the likes of either probably like Ratchet in March, Horizon in June, July, and then at the time a tentative God of War in October, because they had said 2021.
Yeah.
However, the fact they didn't address it here, and they also, granted, it was a sizzle reel of games that have already been announced, and technically this game has been announced, but there's been no footage. All these games have footage.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. Big difference. So that leads me to believe everything has been pushed at least 6 months back under the speculation that I created, which is, so either Ratchet in June, Horizon in October 2022.
I always pictured Ratchet in February, because I was under the impression that it was launch window.
Yeah.
But it was also launch window. And I would say anything further away than like February, March
is not launch.
I wouldn't classify as launch window anymore. That's like 5 months.
Yeah. It is a bit of an interesting case. Like, there's a lot of games that are looking to come out this year, but delays are just going to be completely prevalent this year.
Yeah,
like there is going to be so much.
We're going to still feel the back end of what.
Well, because we talked about it last week with the idea that things are coming out. Well, now we're in that extended hold period. Like things were still coming out last year because they were so close to completion, and now we're going to essentially everything plus 1 year, N plus one. As the cause of the pandemic has an effect on game development, as a lot of places adapted to working online. Now, I don't kind of see that being an excuse moving forward, because people have had 12 months. If you have not been able to adapt in 12 months, something fucking wrong with your studio. But we'll go from there. Speaking of delays, though, I'm gonna have to jump ahead.
You're gonna jump ahead.
I'm gonna jump ahead because we're gonna keep it in go. Might well scroll down for me. 2 new titles have announced that they are being delayed in this past week. First one, son of a bitch, Hogwarts Legacy. They took to Twitter to announce the delay, saying, quote, "Creating the best possible experience for all of the wizardry world and gaming fans is paramount to us." Well, I mentioned paramount isn't, Harry Potter or Warner Brothers thing. So we're given the game the time it needs. Hogwarts Legacy will now be released in 2022. They went on to thank fans from around the world for its tremendous reaction. The second title was Riders Republic. Today we want to let you know that we have made the decision to move our release to later this year. At this additional time will allow our passionate team to deliver the best fun-fueled experience to our players. Now, of course, Riders Republic, I don't fucking care. No one's gonna care. It's a sequel to Steep. No one cared about Steep. It's not having it delay, not a bad thing, because you know what? People already forgot your first date. If they even had one, which it didn't. So
February.
Yeah, no one's going to care.
It's very soon.
Very, very soon. Hogwarts, however, I do care because I'm now neg 1 in my draft. And as talking before about God of War, it's a week since I've made my picks, and it's very likely that I am already down 2 games.
At least you still got Horizon.
That's true. So what's your? Because obviously being the big Harry Potter fan
so
you are,
I'm a little bit. I was conflicted when I saw this because obviously, yay, Ryan's now getting less score. But I'm pretty bummed that it's been delayed because I've been pretty high for this since that leaked gameplay footage. Yonks back. But we also have not seen anything of this game apart from that one reel that they showed off at that Sony event, and it probably could use some extra time. Whether or not it's they're trying to distance themselves further from the JK Rowling business, and they're hopefully she's just gonna hide herself under a rock, and then they can release when no one's they've kind of forgotten about her in a way. Who knows? Maybe the game does need more work. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to know what the reasoning behind it is, because obviously in their Twitter post, they did the same as what everyone does. We want to make the best experience possible. We're going to delay, which is fine. But does that doesn't mean anything? Are you assuming that your experience is going to be sullied because of a third party being a garbage human, or because the gameplay itself or the game is fundamentally not working at this time and you need more time to fix it?
Yeah, I'm on the more developmental side of things. I don't think, even though as the J.K. Rowling's whole thing is interesting, I don't think it's going to directly affect it. I know that it's the same idea.
Because, there are a lot of people out there who are we do not want to support her, and I'm sure she's going to get a cut of some of the sales from this game, and they might be like, I'm not buying this game because of this.
I doubt that'll... look, the discourse burns out fast. People will forget. So you are right. That might happen in some time. However, I don't think so. I think it's more of a situation of there's enough separation between them because it goes, J.K. Rowling, Warner Brothers, The Wizarding World, Portkey, Avalanche, then the game. There should, in theory, be enough steps. Now, granted, she is presumably an executive producer, or she should be a consultative role, as she is the gatekeeper of everything that is Harry Potter. I don't see her involvement / non-involvement being a contributing factor. I think it's more down to the team themselves and the developmental challenges that they are probably having. No. Whether it be, due to lack of experience. So Avalanche have a history within games, but not on this scale, not on a grand high RPG, higher RPG. That with the history of Disney Infinity and stuff like that, they know how to make games. That's not what I'm saying. But I want to make sure. I think it's more around the idea that, and especially once they've been able to absorb what their fan expectations, what the fan furor is, and what they're excited about it. There's a lot there for them to be like, well, we've not delivered that. We've not delivered that. Are their expectations grander than us, or are we heading in a wrong direction people don't want? So there's still enough time for them to sort of mildly pivot where they want to go. Because they may have had this complete plan in line, and they're probably deep in development, but they're probably getting close. But we need to do these minor tweaks to potentially meet expectations, or there's a couple of different reasons why. I think it comes down to they do literally probably need more time, but I don't think it's yet. probably due to either a lack of experience or wanting to expand it to meet the expectations.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of people will think, as similar to yourself, that like, is her involvement, she who must not be named, be involved with it? But on top of that, I think it's a no. Most people will know who she is. Most people will know what she's made. But in the same way that people don't know writers of movies, directors of movies, they just know the product. I think the general populace won't know or care.
Fair enough.
I mean that in the same way, like you and I give a shit about like, game directors and writers and who's involved in it. God of War is an example. If I went and someone, I'm like, they're like, I really love God of War. Like, how cool is it that Corey Barlog wrote this? He's got history within the franchise, and he wrote it with his dad, and then he's like, I don't know who you're talking about. Or like there's that line. Like the average consumer doesn't hit that line. That's fine. It's fun. Buddy, what's in the chat? Bring up the draft game. First rule of drafting: make sure the game you draft comes out. It does seem like it seems very advantageous of me to pick games that are coming out, but at that time, neither of them are locked into coming out. So that is my fault. But as the day of our draft, there was like 3 games that had dates.
Yeah.
So it was like this year could just be an absolute shit fest for both of us.
Yeah, I picked a lot of indie stuff, so we'll see how that goes.
Indie stuff, I think indie stuff has a higher chance of coming out purely from the scale of them being independent.
Yeah.
And they're already adapted to smaller teams. Maybe they're already adapted to, using Moon Studios as an example, guys that do Ori. They've been working from home before the pandemic. So they're neither increasing or missing out. Like they're just doing fine, which is great. It's the big games you have to worry about.
Oh, speaking of big games, Ryan, Lucasfilm Games have come back. Kind of.
Yeah, not LucasArts.
Not LucasArts. Lucasfilm Games. Lucasfilm Games has been introduced and will preface any Star Wars games from now on. The announcement was made earlier this week on the official Star Wars website. Through new social channels, Lucasfilm Games will be a new destination for updates on future titles. LucasArts was originally known as Lucasfilm Games, so this is a nod to the past as much as a rebranding for the now. One announcement that came shortly after this was that Ubisoft is making an open-world Star Wars game. The team working on the upcoming title will be the team behind The Division.
Massive is their name.
Yes, no other details were dropped. Don't know if I want a Division Wars.
We'll get there.
In other Star Wars games news, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has received a recent patch to up its performance on the PS4 Pro and the PlayStation 5 consoles, increasing its dynamic resolution range and its FPS. So they're now more stable because they had a huge variance according to their numbers. Despite the announcement of Ubi's upcoming Star Wars title, EA are still making Star Wars games as well. Their exclusivity deal expires in 2023, and they took to Twitter to state, quote, "We love Star Wars. We look forward to continuing our partnership with Lucasfilm Games. We're making more Star Wars games, and BD1 is still the cutest."
So there's a lot of things we got to take on here. All right, so for context, for everyone that don't know, with the exclusivity deal, EA have had a 10-year exclusivity deal with Star Wars and Disney to make Star Wars games. They've had that since 2013.
Squandered.
They've completely fucked up so hard. So during this time, they've made 4 games. They made Battlefront 1 and 2, which were fine. Battlefront 2 had nothing but backlash. Jedi Fallen Order, which was pretty brilliant, and everyone regards it really quite highly, and Star Wars Squad, which people also regard highly.
Yeah.
So, but, 2 of them came out within 12 months of each other. The other 2, it took them 4-ish years to bring out 2 things, including the cancellation of Star Wars 1313 and Ragtag, which is the one that Amy Hennig was working on, so previously of Uncharted. So they have canned games. They've kept games that were live services that were failed and littered with microtransactions so much that they were nearly unplayable. EA have had a really bad job of running PlayStation, running Star Wars games. Oh, it's a PlayStation. I'm tired. So understandably, as they're approaching this deadline, and looking over the success of that, there's the PlayStation connector. We are looking at the success of PlayStation with Marvel and being like, well, we did make 2 Marvel games since their expanded deal, and Avengers was bumhole, but Spider-Man was really fucking good.
Yeah.
So would you rather have two games, one be good, one be brilliant, one be garbage, or put all your eggs in one basket and get nothing but garbage like they have been? Quote, nothing but garbage.
Yeah, so, because obviously, was it last year or a couple of years ago that Disney now have their own games department?
Yeah.
Headed up by John Drake.
I think so.
it is. And now they're pulling all their licenses back and they're giving them to developers that are actually going to do justice to the license.
Yes, do the right thing. So the hurdle with putting all your eggs in one basket, which in this case is EA, is there's no competition.
Yes.
They have no need to be better, no need to be whatever, because like, what are they going to do, pull the deal and pay us out?
Yeah.
Like, their competition is what makes things better, not exclusivity. So, well, I say that because even exclusivity has competition. But I mean in terms of everything here. Like, EA had all that, the only thing they had to fight against was time.
Yeah.
Because like, we've got 10 years. As long as we release some stuff within 10 years, the deal was worth it, right? But now when you're like, well, you're making this game, but we have a team over here at Massive making something, they're like, oh, but we can't be worse than them, can we? So there's incentive. There's motivation. And that, rather than the motivation to make something better is, this is a thing I heard the other day. So the motivation to make something better is better than the motivation of taking something away. And you will talk about Massive. So like, I loved The Division 2. Loved it. The gameplay is astounding. Every part of it I thoroughly enjoyed. However, I couldn't tell you a fucking thing that happened in that game because I didn't give a shit about the story. You put that prick in Star Wars and I'm suddenly invested in everything that happens. So I think there's a couple of things that need to be paid attention to here. Because one of the things that was mentioned that I saw sort of in the conversation around it was like, oh no, they're gonna Ubisoftify Star Wars. Not gonna happen. So in the announcement, they specified that they were using the Teardrop engine, where Assassin's Creed's are run on the Anvil. It's a completely different system. They're not going to be the same game. It's not happening. Teardrop is what they used to run the Division. I think they used to run like a couple of the side games as well.
Yeah.
So it's very likely it is going to be a shooter. And you've got Massive is going to be a third-person shooter. Will it be a third-person cover-based shooter like the Division? I don't know. Sure. Fuck it. Why not? Because like right now they've already got a first-person shooter in Battlefront. They're not going to make another one to meet that. And on top of that, like the games that were cancelled, like 1313 and Ragtag, were both third-person shooters. And like that's... I think that's Snowdrop. Thank you, Magic Cast. So like there is I've lost momentum. I'm back. Hang on. Snowdrops was mixed between Frostbite. There we go. I was trying to work out where I went wrong. But along with that, what was I fucking talking about?
Third-party game.
Yes. Third persons are the best because you're creating a character, you're inhabiting a character. There's a lot to that, right? And that's where, to me, is most exciting. Like Battlefront, you're nameless person. And like it's like first person supposed to immerse you in the world.
But to be fair,
I don't always get that.
But to be fair, if it is the Division Wars, you could just be nameless person in that Star Wars universe.
Yeah, that's very true. But like the example that I heard today, and that made me kind of go, I think this might be my alley. Is someone's like, well, what if you're in one location, and it's kind of like the Division, but like you're on Coruscant or Naboo or on like the Death Stars are so huge, right? It's so huge. Why can't it be on the Death Star? And you like, there's a bunch of different. No one's ever explored the distant. Like it's a fucking planet. Districts within the. Next to them, where's the cafeteria? We never see like the headquarters of the elite. Like where's all the accommodation? There's a bunch of things you could do within the Death Star alone. That's what I'd love to see. Just saying. Right? And if I were to be like a battle droid or something, because that's the only reason to explain like being super expendable. Is
if it is the Division Wars, I have no interest in it. Unfortunately, it's not for me.
There we go. So Magic is Shane. He actually works for Ubisoft. Great dude, fantastic. Snowdrop is really versatile, as he adds. It was used for the Division, Mario and Rabbids, South Park, and Starlink. I know South Park was in the list. I didn't know Starlink, and I didn't know Mario and Rabbids.
Mario Rabbids was such a good game.
It was so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a big fan of Division 1, and Division 2 just, although it was more of the same, it just didn't win me over. And I don't know if putting a Star Wars wrapper on that is gonna make me come back.
See, but I love it because that's with I
would honestly prefer Star Wars Creed.
See,
give me a hidden blade lightsaber to shank people. I would prefer that.
See, I hated Division 1. I couldn't play it. I don't know what it was.
I
I
know.
couldn't do it. Division 2 won me over somehow, and I tier world 5 that motherfucker.
But
Like,
you're,
that
right, but
never
you're right.
happens.
The story was like you were in it for the gameplay.
Yes, the gameplay is what sold me, and I think this could be the same here. Now, the other reason I wouldn't say Assassin's Creed, because that vibe that I would get would be very Jedi-y, which we've got Jedi Fallen Order. Why do you need that again? And then on top of that, like, all we ever see is Jedis. But give me shit that isn't Jedi. Star Wars is cool, and Jedis are great. Give me anything else.
But that's what you want, though. You want the lightsaber.
You know why Rogue One was really, really good? Because of a distinct lack of Jedis. It's a fucking real grounded story, and granted, Darth Vader at the end, it made it amazing. However, Rogue One, fucking sick.
I agree. And again, I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy. and if I was getting my dream Star Wars game, they would remake Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, they've got to do a KOTOR at some point. Eh?
But I'm pretty sure BioWare did that, and currently they're not.
And BioWare have done poo. So like there is no reason why BioWare should be given the license to bring KOTOR back, because they've done nothing to earn it. Nothing. like oh, what's the last few things you worked on? Anthem and Andromeda. Cool, let's give you KOTOR again. The same people that worked on KOTOR aren't working.
I am excited by the fact that now that the end of this exclusivity deal is coming up, that I quite agree that competition will make things a lot better.
Fuck yeah, make it so much better.
And Ubisoft is a really great choice to kick things off. It'll be interesting to see how quote unquote open world this game is.
Yeah, I think it's
because I would also not classify Division as an open world. It's an open town.
Division 2 is.
It's an open city. It's an open city at best.
Yeah, that's true. Division 1 was like an open suburb, yeah, and this is like an open city, I guess. But like technically, it's open world. There's no like apart from the barriers of Washington. There's not really
true.
Yeah. No, fuck you. You're wrong.
Fuck you. No, you're in one location.
So it's
in open world, I can go to separate locations. I would classify Destiny 2 as an open world game. But like you picture, like, you know, let's stay in the Ubisoft family. You play Assassin's Creed, you go from multiple cities across. You literally go from Norway or Scandinavia to England in the latest one. That is open world. I'm sailing across seas to a different place in the world. That is open world. I want to get on my ship and fly somewhere and like mess people up in Star Wars.
That's just, it wouldn't feel very Star Wars unless you went into planetary travel. I agree with that. All right, I still think you're wrong, but I'll enjoy it.
I still think you're wrong. Okay.
All right, next up, Resident Evil. So Capcom has announced this week a Resident Evil showcase is coming on the 22nd of Friday the 22nd of January. That's Australia, 9 a.m. I'm at work, but I'm watching this motherfucker like no question. At the event, it plans to share a new trailer as well as a gameplay walkthrough. The Resident Evil showcase will also disclose details concerning a closed beta for some unknown online game, which looks to be working for about 4 to 6 players. And it will take place from the 27th to the 29th of January. It is not currently known if this is a mode contained within the new Resident Evil Village.
Oh, and the thing that I left off the bottom of this is the internet's going crazy for the crazy tall vampire lady.
Yeah. So I have
dubbed Mrs. X.
I have stepped away. I saw this announcement. I went, I'm holding everything away until I get to watch this trailer because, you know.
I mean, granted, there is not much more news than that.
Yeah.
Like,
this is when
it's coming. Everyone, prepare yourselves.
But now, it's like everything's getting in momentum. The wheels are going on Resident Evil Village, and you know what was the thing I posted on Twitter? In conclusion, my dick hard. Like I'm ready to go with this game. I like I said, I read all the little previewy things earlier, in, like late last year, and that was enough to get it going. But now that everything's in momentum, I have no real like. I'm just like I'm gonna step back. I don't want the spoilers. I just want to get it and enjoy it, and it's so close. Like I can feel it in my loins. Like it's coming out. Like I'm confident it's coming out in the next couple of months, and I think we're gonna get a release date. We're gonna release date. We're gonna see some more about the world, and then I'm gonna probably like, it's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait. Can't wait. Give me.
I'm the same. I think a release date's not completely out of the question.
Well, it's at A minus the fact that it was my number one pick in our fantasy video game draft, and I need a win right now.
Oh, imagine if next week at the announcement they're like, "Ah, we got to delay till 2022."
Oh, don't you do? I can't have 3 of my 8 games be not coming out this year. I can't.
That'd be so good for me though.
Oh, I would. Oh, it's not even your fault, and I would strangle you. It's not gonna go well. But oh man, I need this game. It's the one game. One of like the 4 games that I'm excited about this year.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, but playing Resident Evil 2 and like 7, 2, and 3, I am completely converted from Silent Hill over to Resident Evil, because Silent Hill's never fucking happening again, and I am just all in.
I mean, not to mention for like the last 8 years, Capcom have released nothing but bangers.
Yeah, they're pretty consistently like going ham right now, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Give me, I want it.
Yeah, things that aren't going ham, however. Cyberpunk 2070 when?
I'm going to sit back so I got something to say.
Earlier this week, Marcin Nowinski, the co-founder of CDPR, released a video online to apologize for the state of the Cyberpunk release. He stresses that the title's shortcomings are not the fault of its development team and fall directly and completely at the feet of the management, including himself. He explains that optimization of the console version, such as that on the PlayStation 4, continued until days before launch, which is why review codes were held back to outlets. Owinski also goes on into a little more detail about the challenges they faced developing for Sony's last-gen console, but he makes a few curious statements along the way. For example, he suggests that, quote, "Our testing did not show many of the issues you have experienced while playing this game," end quote, which seems completely unfathomable considering the scale and the scope of the problems that this game has. He goes on to say that there will be another performance patch within the next 10 days of the video dropping. I believe the video dropped about 3 days ago, so within the next week, which will and the team will push all of its thoughts on DLC until the game is in a more stable playing state. He goes on to mention that the release for the PS5 and the Xbox Series versions are still due to arrive in the second half of this year. There is no word on when the title will return to the PlayStation Store as well, although it states that it's working with Sony to bring the game back, quote, as soon as possible. Elsewhere on the website, the studio also explains that it will not be, quote, crunching its staff in order to produce these fixes and updates. It will be changing its approach with future projects. Quote, "The team is working to bring relevant fixes to the game without any obligatory overtime. Avoiding crunch on all of our future projects is one of our top priorities." This video came out, I believe, the day before Jason Schreier's latest article on the development behind Cyberpunk, where he goes into detail of how 20 staff members have come forward to kind of tell their stories, that people, they're referring to the gameplay demo that they showed at E3, not last year, the year before, as a fake demo, where basically they made this pristine demo that was never ever going to see, where the game was never ever going to live up to the light of that demo that they created. He spoke to CDPR to get a statement from them. They declined to give an interview with Jason. However, Adam, I believe his name is, the other one of the other.
Adam Wazinski.
Yeah, he came out and kind of cherry picked a few questions that the article raised to talk about. To which Jason Schreier replied with, "Hey, I'd love to talk to you properly about this. Let's set something up," and everything's died since then.
Fuck this guy. I have so many issues with this statement. It was something that started interesting. It was like, look, we apologize, not we apologize as the owners, the directors, whatever. It's like, we apologize. We are the executives. We apologize because we made the wrong call.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. My original stance was, you've made an apology. Fucking fantastic. Now fix it. That's what has to happen from here on out. You got to fix it. Like, don't sit here and make a list of excuses of why you did what you did. You need to shut your face, go away, work on it, fix it. And then he proceeds to unravel his entire apology. It was a fucking... It couldn't have been any more a standard by-the-numbers YouTube apology. Mm-hmm. It was a situation of, look, I'm really sorry. I'll do better. However, these are the reasons why we're not at fault.
Yeah.
So scroll back up to me to make sure I hit all the points that I want to fucking tear down. A couple of things that he mentions here. He talks about, as you said, the experiences that they saw in QA did not reflect on the state of the game. He completely threw his QA team under the bus. Wasn't our fault. They didn't tell us about it. Like, are you what? That is actually impossible. If anybody looked at that game in any capacity, from the start of the game to the end of the game, anything about it was completely wrong. These bugs weren't like one-off bugs like, Fallout New Vegas, where if you wear a hat and you stand on one foot and you go to one and walk through this door and the game just shits itself. These are repetitive, across the board issues, right? Not just bugs, problems. Like bugs and glitches I'm okay with, but like hard crashing problems. These aren't surface level things.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Straight up lie. There is nothing about what he said there that is even remotely true. Secondly, he's like, he was talking about how he said that, we went from we were working to make a PC game and then scaling back to console. Congratulations, you're doing what everybody else does. Nothing about that is special.
Yeah.
Every development team builds for PC if there is a PC version, or builds on PC and then scales back to make the consoles. That is not unique. That is not an excuse. Congratulations, your ambitions on this game were bigger than what consoles and most computers can be, allegedly.
I think at the end of the day, they did exactly what BioWare did with Anthem.
Yeah.
They had an idea and they had a concept of a game that they wanted to make. And once they realized that wasn't going to happen, or wasn't going to be able to run on the things it was going to run on, they changed things way too late in development.
The big difference here is using that example of E3, which I'm happy to defend that. I can defend that E3 presentation, Fopen gameplay. Sorry, not Fopen. Like bullshot sort of gameplay.
The
demo
vertical
slices, common, and because a lot of it is proof of concept.
Yeah.
So I don't have an issue if they're like, that's not the game. Of course, not the game. It's the fucking point. If the point is to showcase what this game could become.
Yeah.
Now, I'll defend that. Schreier presumably trying to tear that down.
Not quite. It was more that they were referring to it as a fake demo of they were using it to mislead people of what they were going to get.
Yes, but the big difference is what we've seen. I say this, but what we saw, the final product is near identical to that vertical slice in terms of it's using that anatomical comparison with before. Like the skeleton's there, the meat's there, the skin was a bit different.
Yeah.
Like it just didn't look the same. It had like a lot of the bones that were there, right? Because we got to see that preview footage, and from what I've played in the preview footage, it just looks like what I'm playing is a pretty shittier version of that.
Yeah.
But like the idea was there, and I refuse to, like I said, I find it difficult to believe that for the 6 of the 8 years this game was in, from pre-production to release, that no one had any idea until the last 2 years. Not happening.
Yeah.
Anthem, on the other hand, I completely agree. I completely agree that someone went, "This is the game we're making."
They also brought up. It was also brought up in the Schreier article that obviously CDPR being a multinational team, there is a standard work ideal that if there is someone in the room in meetings or what have you that doesn't speak Polish, you're to speak English, because everyone speaks English. And a lot of staff have come forward and said, we felt uncomfortable because they were speaking in Polish and we have no idea what they were saying. Were they talking about us? Were they... But I mean, that, to me personally, that doesn't seem to have anything to do with unless it's specifically happening in staff meetings and they're happening in a language that you can't understand, then sure, that's a bit dickish. But if it has nothing to do with that,
but like,
an interesting point to bring up.
That's
that apparently the culture in the workplace was just terrible.
Like there is a bit, like I'll be honest, there's a big part of that as well. Like when you're dealing with a company that's based in Poland, you should expect a lot of them maybe not speak English.
Yeah.
A lot of them probably, I don't know, speak Polish.
Yeah.
Like if I was to get in contact, if I was to say work for a company that's based in Japan, there'd be the presumption that I'd know Japanese, or at least a basic understanding of Japanese. Now, it would be very nice of them to sort of be considerate enough to use English, but if they don't know it, they don't know it.
Yeah.
Or at least have a translator at hand.
Yeah, of course.
Now, like the idea of, are they talking about me? That's just unintentionally racist paranoia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, they probably don't fucking say shit about you, right? One thing that we can add to as well in regards of, they're like, oh, we didn't hand, press codes out until this day. Wrong. We got on the same drop as we got the first drop, like everyone else did for consoles here in Australia, and we got it on so
we got 8 hours before.
I received the NDA at 3:30 on the day before release. I signed the NDA and I got the code back within 20 minutes. So I received it on the 9th of November at 4 p.m. approximately.
Yeah, so about 8 hours
prior
to launch.
8 hours prior to release. Enough time for me to, stream it from the embargo drop at 10 p.m., play for a couple of hours on stream, and then, regardless, that is insufficient amount of time. Now, we are nobody, but we were very, very lucky to be at the same time drop for console versions as everybody else in this country, as every other press outlet in this country. And we do thank the local Bandai team for that. Like, that is not an issue, that is not a problem with them at all. They were given them when they were given them.
Yeah.
So it's, for me, I'm like, cool. That is a lie, because even with time conversion, that doesn't match up.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he may have given it out to like people in Poland at that time, and technically it's not wrong. But like, if they are that multinational company, then it should be a worldwide distribution.
I mean, at the end of the day, they knew the games. They knew the game wasn't running on console the way they intended it, and that is why codes were held.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they would have released it when they released the PC codes, and then they would have realized that the 9s and 10s that we're getting on PC were going to be matched with 4s and 5s on console.
Yeah. They were... I've ranted about this before, because like I still argue that CD Projekt Red are not the company that everyone believed they were, and they never have been. They have just said the right things that made the right people go, oh, they know us. They get us gamers. They are like every other company, man. Like, and that's how it works. Like, no, there is no altruistic company that is better than the rest that is for the gamers, because it's a business. And I'm terribly sorry, certain decisions are business decisions.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so that's fucking gross. And then on top of that, so the DLC is delayed, not expansions, DLC. So, and the DLC is stuff they didn't like. I don't know, that's very like tinfoil hatty. It's shit that's meant to be in the game but wasn't.
Well, I believe
because they can't have been working on this game until day zero, and still had people doing DLC.
Well,
not true.
I believe some of it is the multiplayer that they were talking about.
Yeah, whatever happened to that? No one's talking about that.
You're speaking of multiplayer that should be in games that isn't. Last of Us 2. Come on.
Yeah, that's coming, but they didn't give it a time. They didn't give it a date. And they've acknowledged that it exists and it is still coming. So there is also that. And the fact that like the next gen version, which I'm positive was supposed to be March, was the original date.
I believe it was just 2021.
Look,
I don't recall them giving a specific month. I
recall them saying early 2021, and now it's near a year after release.
Yep.
You fucking kidding me?
Well, apparently they're also working on they're working on they'll be working on other projects shortly. They've also promised The Witcher 3 next gen upgrade. They've got a lot on their hands if they're going to Redemption Story Cyberpunk and get out all the upgrades that they want to get out, plus the DLC for Cyberpunk, plus whatever they're working on next.
See, I've heard the use of the comparison to No Man's Sky, which is kind of valid, because the big difference here is No Man's Sky blew up expectations but delivered an incredibly average game.
Yeah,
the game worked. The difference here is CD Projekt Red blew up this game, or at least the fan base. Well, actually, like No Man's Sky, the fan base and the company blew up the expectations, delivered a sub-optimal game.
Yeah.
Completely subpar game. That is the difference here. No Man's Sky, yes, they fucked up. Actually,
I mean, No Man's Sky released a game that worked. It just didn't have a lot of the features that they said were going to be in the game.
Because
but the game worked.
Regardless, he did. Whose name? I can't remember his name. Guy from No Man's Sky.
The guy that talks too much.
Beardy guy who hasn't said anything a lot lately because he's smart roof. Either way, he
I can't think of his name either.
lied, straight lied, and he's like, "Is it multiplayer?" Yes. But like the big difference was he was just a guy, and this was an independent studio that made like Joe Danger. They had done jack shit.
Yeah.
And they had this game that had bigger ambitions, right? CD Projekt Red have a history of games. They lied, mind you. Review codes for No Man's Sky, they totally came out when they were supposed to, because granted the embargo was still release day, but they were out.
Yeah.
They had legitimate hands-on events beforehand.
That's because they knew their game worked.
Yeah. And that is the big difference here. Yeah. Buddy in the chat confirms, yeah, it was quarter one, and now they have moved it and lied.
But no.
Fuck them. Oh, it's my turn.
It is your turn.
Gotham Knights. Another game, but not be goddamn delayed. Warner Brothers Montreal's long-teased game turned out to be Gotham Knights, as we learned last year, a co-op superhero action game starring the extended Bat family of vigilantes. You'll be playing as Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and the Red Hood in an adventure designed to be played with others. You can tackle it solo, of course, but it is clear that there's an emphasis on co-op. This extends to the combat system too, as you might expect. The studio, which previously brought to the world Batman Arkham Origins on PS3, is familiar with the series' quote free flow brawling, but it's had to make some changes to account for 2 players. Speaking with GamesRader, the executive producer Fleur Marty explains the team has, quote, entirely redesigned the combat system in order for it to work well in co-op, end quote. That's pretty much exactly the sentence from above. Mm-hmm. Those who played the Arkham game should still feel at home, but the combat is, quote, in many ways very different, they say. To be expected, the combat system within Arkham games is it's designed for stealth and sort of like that solo play, and you could not replicate that efficiently across to a co-op setup.
All right, so this is more of a you game than a me game.
Yeah.
I've got a few questions for you.
Yeah, shoot.
Are you concerned that it's going to turn out like Avengers did?
Initially, I was, yes.
Do you think that there's going to be an issue with a Batman game where you cannot play as Batman?
No.
Why?
Because the Bat family can sometimes be more intriguing than Batman himself.
That is true, but it depends on the story they tell, I guess.
Very, very much so. Batman is the anchor point, and he's still the anchor point here, so I think they can tell that. Because I think there's a lot of cool stories here, because the idea, spoilers, is that Batman's dead in this world, in this game. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to tell there. There's a lot to talk about the idea of
who take up the mantle.
Not who's taking up the mantle. How do they grieve? How are they dealing with this? What does this mean for Gotham? Like, there's a bunch of things here. Now, granted, there's been stories in the past where Batman has died in the comics, but he just got lost in time, which is I don't know how to explain how. So Dick Grayson became Batman for a little while. So I do wonder where this is going to go. In that sense, I like the co-op idea of it, even though I myself am not very much of a co-op player, mostly because I play a lot of solo stuff. Because like yourself and my other friends, we all play different times, and it's all chaos. And let alone playing together at the same time, let alone the same game, it's not going to happen. So if there is some solo stuff in there, that'll be a big win for me. I do think there is reason to be concerned, especially with that multiplayer setup. But I also believe that it is it's possible but unlikely, because there is already a framework for them to work off from 4 previous games. If they stray too far away from that, it's going to be shit regardless.
Yeah.
So they have a very distinct skeleton, as we keep using anatomical comparisons today. We had some word or phrase last week we used on repetition. Now we're using a different one today. When you've got that framework, if you break that breaks the game. Yeah. That breaks the foundation of what the game is. And as you said, like, they're using the same free flow, the same brawling system, but they've adapted it. So rather than just being Batman punching someone in the face. Maybe you punch him, you throw him up, and then he comes back on socks him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that sort of presumably intuitive
So
combos.
I've also heard that all your characters level up equally, as opposed to what they did in the Avengers, where if you decide to swap characters, you go back to level 1, have no skills.
See, I appreciate that. That's good.
So
See,
I
that's
think that-
already a tick.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I've heard that.
Yeah. So the idea of just focusing on one character is cool if you never plan on playing another character. Because, you know, I understand people have mains, but it takes you a while to work out what your main is.
Yeah, you have to play everyone to get a feel for it.
Yeah. And when you've got, like, you know, all these bunch of characters, do even play somewhat similarly, if we're looking at the Avengers games. I do hope here that they at least play differently, and then you can swap swap them, because I can't believe you can play multiple of the same characters. You could have a couple of Batgirls and whatever, which I don't know how they're going to explain that in canon, but we'll see how it goes.
A 2 Batgirl.
Yeah, because the idea that, you know, that I've picked Robin, so you can't be Robin is a bit shit. But I mean, it makes sense from a story perspective. I get why they do it. And like, yeah, that part makes complete sense. But, you know, if you look at it, because what other example I'm thinking of, like, because if I'm trying to think of any games that I've played, we've all played different roles. And a game I can think of is
Marvel Ultimate Alliance. You played that?
Yeah, Battlefront 2. Battlefront Bad Company 2. I played with friends, and we all had our distinct roles because we were just better at certain roles. That's the only time I can ever think that we've intentionally gone out of our way to be, all right, you're going to be sniper class, cool. I'll be assault, and we'll just get better at that because that's what you work better at.
Yeah.
But we were never forced into that. We made that like cognitive choice. Right?
Yeah.
Like, we were like, I'm going to be this, you be that. Forced into that is poo. Absolutely poo. Because I understand, like, especially with your history of MMOs, like, people, there's a lot of that you can just go.
I mean, I always fall back into a healer role.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what I play, I tend to. There are some form of healing skills. That's generally what I tend to.
And I imagine that's what we're going to see here. Like, either they're all uncomfortably similar.
Because there's generally support roles and
there's always DPS
carries,
support and
tank
and controller.
Yeah.
Yes, one controls battlefield, one helps people, one is the big hitter with the DPS or tank or something like that, right? So I hope that these 4 characters either they're all the exact same and how you spec them is what's different, which I hope not, because they are all distinctly different characters.
Yeah.
And how they fight and how they work. There's a lot to take into consideration here. And I'd be lying if I say I didn't have some interesting expectations around it. But wait and see, I guess.
Talk some quick bits, Ryan.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog is currently on a hiring spree.
You want to work on it?
There are so many roles open. So maybe they're working on something new.
Do they need 2 sub-pop podcast hosts?
No, apparently not. Moving Out is getting a free, quote, moving in update soon, reversing the game's usual play mode.
Love it. So Moving Out is a game by an Australian studio called SMG. It was my independent game of last year. It's an absolute blast. Where the whole idea is you work as a solo or upwards of a team of 4 in a co-op scenario where you have to move a bunch of items from a house into a moving truck in the shortest amount of time. It's great because you just yeet shit things out windows and work together, and it's blast. Now it's the other way. So all the things you moved out, you go to the location. They're like, you put the bed this there. So from the announced trailer, you can still yeet things through windows. So I'm already in.
Ghost of Tsushima fans have helped boost crowdfunding for a real damaged Torigate, raising over 27 million yen, 542% of its initial goal.
Goddamn weebs. All them weebs and their disposable income.
Immortals Fenyx Rising patch 2.0 is out now. It adds DLC support and haptic feedback for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Now, I've already rolled credits on that bad boy, but I want that DLC. It's got to be imminent, right?
So close.
Like, wasn't the rumor mill at the end of this month?
Yeah.
So I need to go through. I need to finish. I need to finish all the side stuff because I'm just going to start on a big collection spree. And then on top of that, like, it already has adaptive trigger support, which I loved.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that there wasn't haptic feedback. Did you?
Yes. There's nothing when you hit people.
Oh.
It's kind of just, yeah.
Oh, I was just focusing on the adaptive triggers because when you do the scan, and like,
Immortal. No, I just read that. Bethesda teases an Indiana Jones game from Machine Games, makers of Wolfenstein.
The point. So this goes back to my original point, right? That I've totally forgot to go. I've totally forgot to go over when we're talking about Star Wars,
Okay.
right?
Yep. Go.
So I think with obviously the rebrand, I believe tinfoil hat is the idea. Like if they're like, hey, that deal was made under a different company. We're Lucasfilm Games now.
I mean,
that deal is null and void.
I mean,
and to prove that we're no longer that company, he's Indiana Jones.
I mean, to be fair, didn't they also make like Monkey Island and like a ton of
Yeah,
other...
LucasArts. No, but I mean,
but LucasArts was Lucasfilm.
Yes,
Games.
no. But I mean, the deal that they made with EA
Yeah.
was under a different business name.
Yeah.
So that business no longer exists. Therefore, that deal can no longer be retained. I'm feeling then if that deal's still got 3 years on it, and they're not clearly, there's no reports of them having to pay out anyone for a deal.
But they probably don't. If that Ubisoft game isn't coming out for 3 years, they're not breaking their exclusivity deal.
Well, like they have to announce it though. Like they're announcing it right now. I don't know about you. It leads me to believe a breaking deal.
Like leads me to believe that this game's coming out as soon as that deal ends.
Yeah, but that like how fucking fucked is that? You know, the idea of like say you and I had an agreement and it was like, you know, it's like. It's like,
yeah, but it depends.
It's like you leaving the pop culturist to go work somewhere else, and for 2 months, like you know, a good year before you leave, all you're doing is just spooking that other show.
Yeah, that's called a non-compete. But like, it depends on what was in their contract. Like, if their contract is the only stipulation is no other game studio can make games while we've got exclusivity. They're not.
But they're developing it right now. But no.
Yeah, true.
They are developing. If they are at a building right now or at home making the game, they are literally breaking that deal. If the game is literally in development, whether it be pre-production right now, which it has to be in order to hit that date, the deal's broken.
Fair enough.
That's my theory. For that reason, obviously this deal wouldn't have happened just last week. We've been in talks for a while.
Yeah.
But that's how I read it.
I reckon they've loopholed it by
they've
changing
loopholed
the name. Changing the name of the
I don't think it's might not be as simple as that. That's me just being like fucking dumb. But I think there has to be some sort of loophole that they have found to be able to break it. And with that, I think comes the announcement of the Indiana Jones game. Because, like, well, if we can't just announce all the changes to Star Wars, like, well, we're also doing this.
Do you reckon it's going to be exclusive?
With Bethesda? Potentially.
Whole nother kettle of fish.
So, on top, like, well, before we jump into this, let's touch upon that. Like, put it out there. Machine Games made Wolfenstein. Dope. Love it. I'm very unsure about how they will deliver an Indiana Jones game.
I mean,
because like, do you imagine a first-person Indiana Jones game?
I can't remember which podcast I was listening to, but apparently, Machine Games is the perfect fit. Sorry, because both Wolfenstein and Indiana Jones
handle Nazis.
Have things in common.
They have Nazis.
Yeah.
That is not the right comparison to make.
I agree. But that's what I heard.
Look, I can't argue. Indiana Jones does in fact have Nazis in it.
But is it gonna be a video game movie game? Like, is it gonna be a game based on the movies, or are they gonna tell a separate story? Because both movies based on games are so bad, and both games based on movies are also really crap.
Yeah.
So are we getting Indiana Jones in the Temple of whatever the hell directly ripped from the movie into a game form? That's gonna suck.
Or is it an anthology? Are we playing all three games because Crystal Skull doesn't exist? You know, like,
or is it a new story?
Yeah. Or are we going to young Indiana Jones? Like, what are we doing? Like, because is Harrison Ford getting a look like in this? Is he getting to speak in this? I don't like. I enjoy what Machine Games made. I said Wolfenstein 2 was my game of the year for 2016. Youngblood can kiss my bumhole. That game was asshole. Horrid, absolutely horrid. But that was mostly Arcane's doing, not Machine Games. I'm a little bit disappointed because this is very similar to their rally, and I was really hoping Wolfenstein 3. But I can understand why they want to diversify. In terms of exclusivity, I'm going to say yes. Because I don't mean to alarm everyone, but there is already an Indiana Jones game out there. It's called Uncharted. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So PlayStation don't need it.
Yeah.
It's already there. And like even then, this might give Microsoft a little bit of a sneaky leg up. They can be like, you know, the uncharted stories of Indiana Jones, like in their marketing. It's like, oh, that's dirty. I love it.
Next up, we have new Final Fantasy trademarks have come to light, reported by Gamatsu. The trademarks include, quote, Ever Crisis, the First Soldier, and the logo for the Shinra company. So we might be getting a Crisis Core.
Yeah, so the Shinra logo makes sense with it didn't have the trademark already. What do these names mean?
So there was a PSP game called Crisis Core, which kind of was a prequel to Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, Paul James loves this game.
And the First Soldier, also referring to Zack from that game.
Oh.
Or actually, technically, First Soldier was Sephiroth. So, like,
yeah,
maybe we're getting a Sephiroth game, which also would be pretty dope.
The dude that wants to bang his bike.
He's the dude with like a 30-foot long sword.
And the motorbike in 7?
No,
Remake?
that's... Yeah. No, what?
Who's the guy on the motorbike in the end?
What?
In Final Fantasy VII Remake, the other guy on the motorbike. There's like Cloud's got a bike and there's the other guy on a bike.
Oh, the guy that looks exactly like Cloud but with black hair?
No. He's like got very long grey hair. He's on a motorbike. There's another guy on a like
It's been so long since I finished that game.
There is two dudes on the bikes in Final Fantasy VII, and
it might be so because
Sephiroth is the dude that tried to stab Mario.
yes, Sephiroth is the guy who stabbed Mario. I was trying to work out where you went there. It could. Yeah,
I'm positive it's him on the bike.
Yeah, it probably is because I think him and Zack were like best mates.
Fuck Zack.
Zack is Cloud with black hair.
What?
Zack is who Cloud
Why
thinks
does everyone have really dumb names except for Zack?
Because Zack's just
you got Cloud and Tifa and fucking Sephiroth and
old Zack
and Zack.
Yeah.
Zack.
Anyway,
could these be subheadings for the remake part 2 and 3?
Doubtful.
What? How? Knowing what's coming in the story
knowing what's coming in the story, I don't. I think it's more likely that we could be getting like the prequel games, like Ever Crisis and Crisis Core. Seems too much of a coincidence to me.
But from my understanding of the original Final Fantasy VII, isn't Sephiroth something that appears later in the game anyway?
Sephiroth's
he's the big overarching villain, but you don't see him till later in the game, right?
Oh, you see him all through the game. Like he's just constantly up in the business.
Then why could because I'm presumptuously that's not a word.
Because like I'd be pretty keen to play. Like if the First Soldier is a Sephiroth game, I'd be pretty keen to play that.
Well, no, because I'm seeing it like a trilogy of remakes. Like they're separating the game into 3 parts.
Then I don't think those names would make sense for parts 2 and 3.
Yeah, see, I have no idea. I have no context. So I just read that. I'm like, oh, that's the second one. That's the third one.
Yeah, unless they go on this mad tangent on what they're retelling for the story.
Well, once again, my understanding is they did that anyway.
Kind of to a degree. It's weird.
So I have no idea about Final Fantasy. I'm just trying to grill you about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no. My thoughts is we could be getting the PSP games again.
Tide you over knowing that Resident Evil 7 Remake 2 is Yongsway?
Final Fantasy? Yeah. It's not coming. But things that could be coming out soon. Rumor has it the Mass Effect Legendary Edition will release on the 12th of March thanks to some leaks.
I believe this has been confirmed.
Well, I haven't seen a confirmation, but I saw a lot of retailers with that date.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Wait, didn't I pick... Oh, did either you or I pick that?
I think I did.
Let me check.
I'm actually pretty sure I did.
Alright, fantasy draft. If you get another release, I'm going to kill you. You did, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, cool. Upcoming games. Hitman 3, January 20th. And Gravity Heroes, January 22nd.
And Scott Pilgrim came out last week too.
Yeah, Scotty Pilgrim came out last week.
Pick up?
No.
No, I mean, I
played it the first time. I have no really interest to play it again.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of side-scrolling brawlers. It's just...
That's a good point. But yeah, Hitman, big one. Come out in 2 days from the day this goes up.
Yeah,
excited?
Pretty excited. It's going to be fun. Looking to play it in VR now that I got my dongle.
Your dongaroo?
No.
Yeah. Not much. Everything's so... Like, there's a bunch of news this week, which I'm really happy with. I'm happy with all the extra news. But... in terms of game releases, it's still very slow.
So this is this list of 2 games came from VG247. So there obviously could be more titles that came out during that, like in this time. But these
the games of note, because if you look at
these are the
according to the blog coming out this week is still Star Wars Racer. So the PlayStation blog has been discussing for their release of games. And if you go to the store, it's a hot mess most of the time. You have really no idea what's coming.
Yeah, I still haven't worked out how to navigate the PS5. So I just get on my phone now and use the app because it's way better.
Well, I do it.
Way better.
Oh, excuse me. Either way, big thank you to everyone for joining us once again this week. Big thank you to everyone that joined us on the Twitter as well, like Buddy, like Shane, who came in to nicely correct me, which I actually genuinely appreciate. That's because we're doing a recording on a different day here. Puck's not here to correct me. So instead, I have direct from the source. like I said, Shane's he used to be the PR rep for that we would chat to at Ubi, but he's since moved on to more esports roles. And yeah, he's an absolute rip over dude. He has a movie podcast called Magic Movies. And I watched it the other day and it was a blast. All I did was just poo on one of them. It was amazing. And of course, we saw Cass in there as well, and it was awesome.
Cass actually resubscribed.
Oh yeah, Cass totally resubscribed with his Prime for 3 months in a row. 3 months in a row, and his 7th time. Where the fuck happened those other 4 months, Cass? When were they, huh?
Cass has a real issue with watching booby streamers play Among Us on Twitch. Yeah.
But yeah, of course, big thank you everyone that joined us on Twitch. Yes, and if you want to do the same, Saturdays 4 p.m. or Sundays at 4 p.m. depending on.
I think it's Sunday again next week too.
Yeah, just the whole of January. It's fucking.
All
Sunday.
of January we're doing Sundays.
Yeah. Actually, oh shit, no, it really is because at the end of the month we're going to the local wrestling on the 30th.
Okay, cool.
All of January it's Sundays.
All of January Sundays.
These things are starting open again. I'm gonna go to the wrestling.
That's fun.
Close it up.
All right, everyone. This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, please check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All of our links are in the description below.
If you want to join us as the conversation happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch us record this show live. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. For the next part. Oh, if you're listening on the podcast, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. Or you're watching on the YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. If you want to support the show financially, you can at patreon.com/popcultures, as well as our merchandise to popcultures.com/shopping, my shirts, other sort of shit with our logos on it. And of course, if you did want to jump on the weight loss journeys with Max and myself for 2021, if you click that link down below, it will let them know that you're checking out the Manshake product through us. And yeah, I'm still in the process of looking at some future things to help save you guys some dollary dues, but I need to. If I can prove there's people coming through to it,
yeah,
then that's an added bonus. So, but yeah, we'd love for you guys to join us if you want to. Not saying you're all fat and nothing, but if you want to join us, you can because it's funsies. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper,
and that was for the players.